What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're working on my terminal emulator. His name is Termy. We're getting a little farther into it now. We're, let's see, 30 commits in. What's like 2 weeks ago is the first commit, so we're getting somewhere. And where we're at right now is we have this like terminal emulator. He spawns, I type ls, stuff comes out. I can type pager equals cat get log -n1, and I see like something reasonable. He's wrapped at this like specific width inside, which is like informed to the child process, i.e. bash or less or whatever. And there's a bug actually that I noticed earlier today where this cursor gets a little bit messed up in some cases, but it's okay. We'll fix that later. And what was I saying? This is what we have. And we're on like this like saga to try to get less to work so that we can run git log and have this like behave as expected. And it's like pretty clearly not right now. Like when I move the screen around, it's supposed to like replace what's on there right now, and that's not happening, right? If I go into this terminal and I say git log and I type D a few times, like it scrolls, and that's like not what we're seeing. So we've been kind of like slowly working towards getting to the point where that works. And today's topic is scrollback. So what I believe is happening in my super dumb terminal, I think if I say term equals dumb, which says like, hey, programs that are going to run, check this environment variable to see like what capabilities my terminal has. So if I say like, please list the capabilities of like xterm, he's got like this like big list of shit. And so that means that like when an interactive application is drawing, he can say like, oh, I'm going to try to issue this command to like move the cursor over here, clear this line, blah, blah, blah. If we look at like the info comp of dumb, he's got very few capabilities, right? And so what I believe is happening is we are a kind of like just barely better version of dumb. If I look at our terminal definition that we added yesterday, it's like pretty close. It's not very many features compared to xterm. And so I think what's happening is in that context, if I say term equals dumb, and then I run git log, I believe what's happening is that if I press space here and then scroll up, I actually see all the stuff that was on screen before, right? And if I go like down, 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 up, 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 and then scroll up, I see like where like the same text again, right? I have this here and this here. So I believe what's happening actually is every time I move the cursor in like this pager at all, I think all it's doing in when we don't support any features, right, is instead of saying like, hey, move the cursor to the top and print this stuff, he's saying, I'll just write a full new screen of shit and everything else will be pushed off the back and so it'll disappear. And we're just not handling that right now. So I believe that if we implement scrollback, which should come like pretty easily with the way we've set things up, I think that less will be a lot closer to working. We'll see. But that's what I think right now. And so the plan for today is to like take our current code and split up some of the stuff that we're doing so that it has the concept of like things that are on screen and things that are off screen. So kind of like the way that the code is architected is we have like this terminal emulator like state machine kind of thing. So he has like this like parser and he knows like what characters are coming in over the line. And he has this buffer that says like, okay, so for each character, depending on like where you say that you're going to insert this data, I'm going to like do something, right? I'm going to like store this data. I'm going to like insert it at like the correct spot, right? So if I have like, you know, I have like text on screen, wah, 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 and they're saying like the cursor's at position here, and like we insert data, then like this guy's responsible kind of for like extending this line out so that like when we write like blah, 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 it doesn't like end up overwriting this stuff until it's like gone all the way to this line, stuff like that. And he has like a history of all data that we've ever tried to present. And when we pass that, when we like render that to the GUI, we say, hey GUI, could you please like look at what to draw on the screen? He just like basically sees this whole buffer right now. And so what we have to do is we have to kind of like figure out where in this buffer are like the last n lines, where n is like the defined height of our terminal emulator. So if we have like, you know, our terminals, like I think we have it defined somewhere actually. We have 50 by 16 is our default. So we have like 50 by 16. So what we should do is we should say, hey, find the last 16 lines and give those to the GUI. And then give him the other lines in there as like something that he can scroll up to if he feels like it. Which means that like all cursor tracking has to be done relative to that like window at the bottom instead. So there's like some stuff to get into there. But that's kind of like the plan is like split up the like history from current. And then maybe we'll start by only displaying current on the GUI. Once we think that that's working okay, we can start adding like a scrollback in the terminal so that he stops looking like shit. And then right now we kind of have like this like red box here is the only area that we like claim that we're going to display in, right? And we have to fix that. Right, so we have to say, okay, extend this out to like fit the whole screen, and when I resize this guy, match that correctly. So that's the plan for today. And I think we just start by getting into the on-screen, off-screen stuff. I've been meaning to catch up on these videos before your next stream, but I never do. Yeah, don't blame you. You know, they're long, and they're, you know, it's 2 hours of coding video, coding a day. It's like, I don't know, I would skip some too. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So surely we have to store the height of our terminal emulator here. That's an important piece of info that this guy needs in order to do what he wants to do, which means he has to take in the height, which means that then he stores the height, and whoever constructs this guy also needs to pass in the height. So whoever constructs him, terminal emulator, he creates a terminal buffer with, oh, this is wrong. That says 80. This should be terminal width and terminal height. Okay. I guess we can store these as... We store them as usizes. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that makes some math easier later, so I'm just going to cast them for now. Okay. And, actually, because of that bug, I do want to see if that fixes the cursor shit I was seeing before. That does look a lot better. The cursor's tracking a lot better. So that was a mistake that we just didn't fix before. I think that I lost that in some cleanup changes, so... but that's okay. That's fine. We will continue on. Okay, so let's see what's next here. Does this compile? Did we get everywhere? We did. And so now it's like, what do we do with that height? So I guess when we insert data right now, we insert relative to some cursor position, and that cursor position is going to be on screen. And so if we implement scrollback, then we need to adjust it. Right now, our cursor position is relative to like the beginning of all of history. We need to make sure that it's only relative to the first n lines, which means that the last n lines, I should say, which means that we should find some way to figure out where the lines are. So this function, calculate line ranges, that takes in a buffer, and he says like, where are each line? Where's like the start and end in the buffer of each line? So if I have like ASDF, say my like terminal width is 10, I have like ASDF \n, and like something like this, right? This is like what's stored in the buffer. This will turn into, like, if you were to render this out, this would look like ASDF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because like we're wrapping at 10 width. And so calc line ranges will say like, okay, so the first line goes from 0 to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 0 to 4. It does not include the \n. The second line will say, okay, so I start at position 5 because I skipped the \n and I go to position 15, and this guy says I'm position 15 to 20. That's kind of like how this like line ranges thing gets split up. And so I guess it's kind of silly to kind of calculate that from the start of the buffer forever, if we only care about the last n lines. But for now, we can just reuse this, and we can kind of keep in our head that it's going to be like an early optimize. Like we can optimize this later. If our scroll back gets really long and this starts getting really expensive, then we should calculate like back to front instead of front to back. But for now, we can do it that way. Okay. So when we insert data, we take in the width, the cursor pause, and we like try to like make sure that where we want to write, we like find where we want to write, and we like insert enough padding so that we can just copy data in. And so this guy is surely going to need to take in height. Surely. Okay. Hey, bro, how are you? Good, how are you? Good, how are you? And what's he going to need to do with the height? So he's going to look at the line ranges. And right now he says, hey, look for the line that is at cursor pause Y. So this is, if you have like, 100 lines, you're going to look at the 100th line range, buffer position. But this isn't really true anymore because we only want to look at based off height. So we do something like line range, line ranges is what we were just discussing. He has some length, which is like the number of lines in our history. And then we want to say minus height, right? So that's going to be the start position of everything. But this might be less than 0, so we can say if line ranges len is greater than or equal to height, we say let on-screen start line is this. Otherwise, it's 0. Great. Great. And then what happens? I wonder, can you like short circuit this with like a saturating sub or something? Line ranges len saturating sub. Oh, hell yeah. Let's do that instead. I like that. Let first visible line is this. That seems like a better name. And then we say the line range that we want to work with is now cursor pause Y minus first visible line. Right? Because if this is like, if this is 0, because we're at the beginning, then this will be just, we'll use the cursor pause. But if we have progressed too far, then he'll edit only the most recent shit. And I wonder if that's the only change we have to make. Because then everything else is working within that line. So we're kind of chilling, I think. And then all we should have to do is here, instead of returning all data, we're going to look at the line ranges again with self-buff, self-width. Okay. Why is this syntax highlighted fucked up? Cargo check. Does it build? It does. So I don't know why this is like, this is supposed to be red, and I don't know why it's not. Go down, go up. Yeah, weird. Okay. Well, it's fine. And then we just want to probably do like the same shit we did here, where when we were doing our padding, I lost it. First visible line. Line ranges len, saturating sub, self height. Is that right? I think it is. That's the first visible line. And then we just say that we return the buffer from first, the start of the first visible line. Nope. Line ranges first visible line start. This is the where we want to start indexing from. Let start is equal to this, and then we return the buffer relative to the start position. So if I understand what I wrote correctly, this is we find where in our total history we should start from, and we only render out from the beginning of that point. I think there's like a chance that that just works. That was like kind of simpler than I thought it would be. So if we look at like, let's just keep pressing enter. Okay, instead of working, it crashed my program, which is pretty cool. Love that. Let's see what happens there. Okay. So, when we also kind of track format data, and so this is like stuff like, hey, what color is the text at this buffer position? And the way we kind of implemented that was you have like, you know, a buffer of some text, and this is like, you know, buffer. There might be like new lines in here, right? Like, so, but it's like linear buffer, and we just kind of say like, hey, at position like 6, blue, and blue will go from like position 6 to 9, right? He's like, this range is blue. But now we're like chopping off the front of this guy. And now like this like index 6 should be like translated to index 0. So I guess we kind of have to... right now we kind of, we request these two things individually. We ask for the data, then we ask for the format data. And you could maybe argue that those two things should come in together at the same time to make sure you're getting like an accurate snapshot. However, the way everything is implemented right now, the only time that the terminal state changes is if you issue a read. And so we can kind of say, well, we know that from our parent context, we're only ever going to issue a read and then try to pull out data and format data. And so we don't need to worry about tracking those things individually, I guess. So we can just do the same calculation, I guess. So maybe this guy returns a slice, and maybe he also returns where in the buffer he started from. So he returns a slice in usize. There's something really fucked up with syntax highlighting here. I'm going to restart this, because it's bothering me. It's annoying. Okay, and so this guy's going to return the buffer and where he started from. Which is the start. Which means that whoever calls this guy, he's going to return the first thing. But the format tracker, he's going to say, hey, could you tell me where I should offset everything? Let offset is equal to this. And now we're going to have to heal all of the stuff in our format tracker. So we say, hey, here are our tags. And let's make them mutable. And we return the tags at the end, but we have to adjust everything by the offset, which should be easy. It should be something like tag. What is this thing? What is a tags? Tags is a vector of format tags where format tag has a start, end. Great. So we say tag.start. If tag end is greater than or less than the offset, we just nuke it. We don't need it. Which is going to make this easier to do with iterators, because like deleting stuff from a vector while you're iterating is a pain in the ass. But if you do tags.into_iter and then you collect, first of all, there's this like pretty sick optimization in Rust where this will actually just reuse the same vector of memory. So you're not actually like losing any performance by doing this. You're not like creating a new vector and copying into it. You're like reusing the space that it fits, which is pretty sick. And then we can remove stuff where tag end is less than offset. Or we want only things where it's greater than or equal to offset. Okay. And we want to map each tag. We want to say, hey, your start is equal to let's see. Let's think about this. We have a tag, format tag. I guess we just say mutable tag. Yep. We return the tag, and then we say tag.start saturating sub offset, and that's the new start. And the new end is going to be tag.end minus offset. We don't have to do the saturating sub thing anymore because we know that we only have things where it's bigger. And maybe that just works. Maybe. Could be. And the linter is saying, you can do minus equals. Yeah, sure. Shut the fuck up, linter. You know, sometimes he's helpful and he tells me things that actually matter, and sometimes it's just like useless shit. I don't think anybody cares about that. Okay, so we can start spamming enters now, and it still crashes, so that's not good. We're still seeing like out of bounds access. Because there's a sentinel value in our tags, because the tag tracker, when he sees like the end of a buffer, he doesn't know that he doesn't know the buffer length because we don't want to track that. Instead, he says, okay, from like if I see like I'm starting to write red until like the end of the fucking world is going to be red. And then what happens is in like the GUI, we say, okay, if you see end of the fucking world, just like bring that back to like the end of the buffer or else we crash. And so we just need to say, if tag.end is not equal to usize max, then we do this. Otherwise, we leave it at the max. And then hopefully that works out, maybe? Okay, so start spamming enters. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so we got... Okay, something's wrong here. We did see one line move back here. Boom. But then when I press enter again, it's not doing as I expect. Clear. And there's... what the fuck is going on here? Right? Something about this doesn't look right either. So... what are we missing? What are we missing? That seems to me like an insertion bug. So we can check this by saying, let's undo this change that we did for our insertion, right? This first visible line thing. Let's comment this out and just make him 0. And we can run them back and just see if that changes anything. Yeah, so that's working fine, right? The GUI, like the side of extracting the last n lines is working. We're not modifying the cursor position as we would want, but that's okay. It's like, it's scrolling the way we expect. Which kind of means that it's more related to this. So when we try to say, hey, this is where we're going to insert, we're going to write to, we find the right buffer position. Okay. Maybe we don't. Desired start is the line range from the first visible line. I guess, you know, we could always write unit tests. And that would help a little bit. Let's fix all the ones we broke because we added this parameter here. Boom, 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 boom. 5, 5, 5, 5. We'll just make like all of them. It doesn't really matter. Like we'll just make them all the same width and height. This is comma here. This is 10, 10. 10, 10. Okay. Is that all of them? Okay. Now, what are we trying to do? We are trying to check the behavior of our internal canvas when we scroll a lot. So test canvas scrolling. And so if we create some buffer, oh, this also needs a 10 here. Okay. Is everything else compiling? Well, before we do this, let's make sure that the tests are still passing in their current form. No, because all of their outputs are now adjusted. This should say .0 on all of these, which is annoying. Let's just search for data this and make a macro that says go to this thing and put a .0 in next, and then I can spam a macro. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Cargo test. Do we compile? No. Fuck. Because I put it at the wrong spot. So 803 GG. This 10 goes here. Whoopsies. Okay. So test canvas clear is not working, which is surprising because I don't see any reason why this should behave any differently. We can look at our pad buffer for write function. We can go back to the way it was before and see if that fixes the test. It doesn't. The len is 0, but the index is 0. Panicked at 454. Oh. Ah. I see. So we have to do... So this, in the case where it's completely empty, needs to say, like, hey, we need to handle that. So we're going to say... you can get the first visible line, and then this will be some sort of option. And then we can say unwrap map val to like val start, and if there's nothing, we say 0. Or maybe we short circuit this actually. Maybe I think short circuiting will work better. So we can say if line ranges if self buff len is equal to 0 is empty, then we short circuit and we return the whole buffer so that we don't try to index into 0 even if 0 doesn't exist, and 0 here. Okay. I think. Let's see if that stops the crash. It should, but maybe it doesn't. Yeah, okay, we're good. Okay. Okay, so now we wanted to test the canvas scrolling. And so what do we think should happen? Let's say that we have a buffer that is 10 wide and 10 tall, and we insert some data. And I guess we just want to insert a lot of data. So maybe we'll limit the height here. We'll say he's like 4 tall. So this is 0, well, 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. And now we should have the 4th line. That seems reasonable to me. This guy's going to return some response. And first of all, we should check the data. So we have canvas, buff. And what do we expect it to look like here? Do we expect 1 line to go off? We have 4 lines. Maybe if we make this 3, we expect the first line to roll off. So we kind of expect that if we say canvas, data, we expect that the index that he gets is offset by 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We expect him to be, hey, I'm starting from position 5. And we expect the data to be this string that we passed in, but without the first line. And I think with the new line at the end. I think that we like inject new lines at the end of things. I don't really know why, and I haven't really thought about it, so I'm pretty sure that's the case. And that passes. Surprisingly. What if I say start spamming like, you know, a couple of these? Then I expect this and this. Like, that's what we are seeing in our application, right? When I hit enter a couple times, I'm seeing like this prompt line show up with new lines. And the offset should, well, first this should fail because the offset wasn't updated, so I just want to double check that the test is like fucking running. Good. And the offset should now be like, how does this work? So I've got, the offset should be here, 18 in. Not quite. He's seeing 15 in. Is that right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. What's 15? 15's here? Okay, so there's some bug here, for sure. Because 18 is or 15 is totally wrong. Which could explain the bug. Okay. So can we like print line first visible line? And we write first visible line. What does he say in this case? he says the first visible line is 3. And where did I print that at the right spot? I printed that, yep, on data retrieval. So I think the first visible line is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That's correct, right? Because this is like 0th line, first line, second line, third line. That's right. Okay. So now he's saying, but the start position is wrong? Start is start. Okay. So start is 15. Maybe I print out the buffer just to make sure. And we can do like stood stir from UTF-8 self buff. Unwrap. Print out everything that's in it. Because I forgot to put a semicolon, maybe? Yep, okay, so we're compiling in. Good. Okay, so I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh. Did I just miscount? Because that 15 is looking right now. Where was I getting 18 from? Oh, because the backslash was being counted when I selected. God damn it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 15 is right. 15 is right. And so then the question becomes, like, okay, so what's the fucking problem? Right? Like, as far as I can tell, that seems fine. Oh, I wanted to look at the cursor position as well. So he says the new cursor pause is going to be something. And after all of this, I think the new cursor pause should be it should be at the end of this. So he should be like line 0, like 0, 1, 2. Okay, assert EQ. The new cursor pause is a cursor pause. Well, maybe we'll say do .x and y individually. So the x should be 2, and the y should be 2. They should both be 2. And they're not. So we see this at 919. So the y, his y position is not being correctly updated. He thinks he's in the wrong spot. Ah. Haha. Because we update the cursor position by saying, okay, here's where in the buffer we wrote to. Now, which cursor position should that be? And that has to take into account the current height as well. Which means that he needs to take in a height. And we need to do the same shit. Where we do this. And I wonder if copy pasting this first visible line shit all over the place is maybe an indication that we shouldn't be doing it this way. But you know, who knows? So new line ranges, iter, enumerate, find this guy, and so now we just have to subtract the first visible line. So let new cursor y minus equals first visible line. And we can make him mutable even. Okay. And so now this test should work. Nice. And if I run the terminal, does he start looking more reasonable? No. Okay, so what's going on here? Let's turn on the debug view so I can see. Okay, and if I hit enter here, everything scrolls up by 1. Great. Enter here. Now my cursor went up by 1, but everything else didn't. Kind of? So my cursor is going up, and then it's rewriting what I receive at the cursor position. But it's not clearing the rest of the screen, which means that we're kind of like overwriting things in our history, which seems kind of fucking weird. Are we printing out? We are. Okay, we're printing everything. So let's if we're printing everything, we can start by saying okay, clear everything. And let's say echo test. And when I press enter, echo test should not go anywhere. Great. Maybe I do echo test again here. And let's look at this. Okay, so we're close to the end of the line. Okay. Now I press enter again. Are we losing anything? We are. I'm seeing that like we're getting these like $signs injected where we shouldn't, which is kind of indicating that we are inserting in the wrong spot. Cause why? Why? There's got to be something in here. Which means that this like test isn't sufficient. I wonder if we can simulate the same sequence of events as a test and see if we can reproduce it that way. So maybe we log all calls to insert data, and then we just copy that back out. So we'll say the cursor pause is this. I wonder if we can get a little clever here, and we can even maybe log it in a way that's helpful, like for us to copy. So we can say like cursor pause dot x equals cursor pause dot x. Cursor pause y is equal to cursor pause y. And I guess we also need the data. Data is equal to like this, I guess, and we print it as UTF-8. So you say stir from UTF-8 data unwrap or something. I think that we could almost just like copy paste that into a test if we delete these other print lines. Okay. I think. We'll see. Let's take out these quotes like this. And then I think it works. Yeah, nice. Okay. So, echo test. Let me press enter a bunch of times. Echo test. Okay. Like, let's just get kind of crazy here. Copy. We can look at the... Oh, we already had this open. Foreground. We delete in here. We set paste mode, and we paste. Okay. Then we go up here, and we indent everything, and we delete anything that says unhandled. I guess we can get crazy here, and we can say v unhandled d. No, anything that says unhandled we delete, not anything that doesn't. So we do this. Cool. And then we add semicolons and everything. Cool. And on each line of data, we're going to have to like insert into the buffer. So I guess here we know that our terminal buffer should be 50 by 16. Our initial cursor pause, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and our data is nothing by default. Okay. And then just at each point that we do this, we just call, every time that we see a data equals, we just paste this. Oops. What did I just do? Fuck. Okay. We just insert this. Okay. Yup. And Then what? We say go to this one, record a macro, paste, go to the next one. We just do this a few times. Okay. And then at the end, what the fuck do we expect? I guess we have to look through each of these and think about it. So we have echo test here. So let's just kind of assert eq canvas.data.0 is a byte string of echo test. I think that's what we should see here. Oopsies. Cargo test. Expected an array with fixed size of 0 elements, found 1 element. Okay, so the data type needs to be flagged as a slice, so that he's reassignable like that. Okay. And we were close here. I just forgot to put a new line at the end, as we always do. And we can just kind of like work our way forwards here. So this is supposed to be like this. Uh, 366. Attempted to subtract with overflow. What the fuck? Can I like comment out all this stuff? Okay, so that's working. Then we insert a bunch of these guys. So we can count how many too. So this is line 2 all the way down to 16. We see the same thing. So now we should see 16 of these. So we can do, sorry, no, not 16. Line 2 to 16, so 14 of them. So you say 14 append that. Okay, let's just get a little crazy here. Which is not working as expected. What is our terminal height? I guess we can just start bisecting where it went wrong. Terminal height should be 16, so there's a good chance that this is wrong. But maybe 1 back is fine. Okay. The fun of bisecting. Okay, so before any of this. Does that work? Insert 1 extra line. Great. And now we just have to start like fucking 1, 2, 3. And so we add 3 more. What? 1, 2, 3. Okay. What a fun way of debugging. Surely this is not the most optimal way. Surely. But, you know, and then let's go all the way down to like line like 14 or something. And is it crazy to just do something like put enough, like assert this every time? So we yank this, go down this many lines, and then put in another one. Hey, look at that. That's kind of fun. Okay. So does that pass? Maybe it does. Who knows? What the fuck is it blocking on? I just compiled you like fucking like 10 seconds ago. How about using GDV? Yeah, that would be smarter. But I guess I'm trying to like, I'm also trying to like work through what I expect to happen at the same time. And so like kind of like logging this way seems maybe okay. Okay, so now we are at line 15. And at line 15, we now have how many lines? 16? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But I start counting at 0. So I'm not sure if I expect this to scroll back or not. We can check though. We can look at the existing behavior and say, okay, so the right has too much stuff on it. So you can kind of assume that that means that it deleted a line here. Right? He should go back to this if we scrolled over the edge. And he does not. So what do we have? Let's look at this. This is likely where the bug is. So what do we have? Okay, well, we're going to run it again and compare it left and right. And they are mostly the same, right? The left is this, right is this. Except it seems like the beginning of the buffer is the fucking same, but it truncated stuff off the end. It's almost like our padding is like going the wrong way. Okay, so can we also look at the buffer itself? I'm assuming that the buffer itself is fine, but no, we know that that's not true either. So we can look at the canvas buff. And does he look like what we expect? Let's look. Let's look. So this is not like, so this is assertion failed at line 1042. So yeah, so the actual data itself inside the buffer, not just the view into it that's supposed to be handled by scrollback, that's also wrong. Which kind of indicates that the insertion logic is fucking wrong, which lines up with the behavior we saw. Okay, so all we have to do now is we have to fix this. So, oh, wait, no, I just didn't insert the data here. Derp derp. We didn't insert, and so the assertion is, okay, fuck. Both of these are working out. Okay, maybe it's the next one. Okay, let's see if it's here. So we insert one more line, and here we expect to see, if there's no wrapping, we expect one more line, which I don't think is what we should see. We should see the echo test get pushed off the edge, which is what we see, I think. I think if we delete this line here, we see test. Let's just double check here. Okay, close. So we see this matches them at the start. But then at the end, I think we didn't write to the right spot. Yeah, we didn't really write to where we think we should. Right, because we correctly truncated the stuff on the left side. But here we see like a double new line, when we should be seeing a new line with like the $ space inserted. The 3632, I'm pretty sure, is $ space. Okay. Okay, so we can, first of all, is the cursor pause here reasonable? We are trying to insert at 0:16, which is off the edge of the screen. Let's think. So we pad this buffer for right. And here we say, here is the first visible line. And then we try to look at where we should be writing, which is likely off by 1. Right? Maybe. So we can say print line. First visible line is first visible line. Okay. And let's print the line range as well. Probably has to be formatted with debug. Probably. Okay, so he gets first visible line 1. That makes sense. Line range 56, 58, which is the same 56 to 58. Maybe that's fine. Would be nice is can we like print out like the buff is like can we print out like what we're trying to overwrite? So you can look at like buff and we can look at him from 56 onwards as a string. I think that makes sense. Then we should see some sort of useful debug info there. Forgot a new line or a semicolon. Great. He doesn't like that because the line range might be 0 to 0. So, oops, this should be line range dot start. Okay. So here he's seeing that he's trying to write from 56 to 58, which is the start of this, like the existing line start. But he should be inserting at 58. So we've extracted the wrong line. How is that possible? How is that possible, right? So like, let's just say I did height -1 here. Does that go the right way or the wrong way? I think the wrong way. Height +1. Okay, so now that works as expected, but why is that true? Because the length of the buffer is 1 past the last line, right? It's 1 more than how many lines we have, and the height is how many lines we have, so we need to increase by 1 to get the 1 past the end, I guess. Okay, let last line IDX is line ranges len -1. And then we will saturating sub height. And sorry, we'll do last line IDX saturating sub, and we'll just make a note here. Height is inclusive, so we need to compare with the last line index, not length. Okay, I think that's fine. We'll see. Cargo test. Cargo run. And we'll see if the buffer looks right at all. So I start spamming enters. Still doesn't look right, eh? Yeah, something's still wrong here. It's also, why the fuck is the cursor like drifting up to the right? I guess this thing has to be applied everywhere that we do this. So we can say function line ranges to visible line ranges. Okay. And we'll take in align ranges, which is going to be whatever the output of the calc line ranges. It's probably like a vector of range usize. Yep. And maybe we'll use this as a reference. And then we'll say height is a usize. It needs to return a new slice of range usize. Okay. And he's just going to do this. So he's going to say new line ranges is going to be line ranges the first visible line onwards. Okay. And I put an ampersand. And then here we say line ranges to visible line ranges. This. And we say let visible line ranges equal that. Okay. And then we just say the line ranges the visible ones at the cursor pause. I think that should work out. Run our cargo test again to see if like we're still in the same state we were a second ago. Okay. And then just everywhere we do that like self.height, we just have to fix all these. So oh, I guess it's only here. Did we I think we did it in a third spot, right? We did it in here when we retrieve the data. So we say first visible line range is this, visible line range is that, line range is visible line ranges 0 instead of saying first visible line here. So it should be like this. What mismatched closed limiter? Am I high? What am I missing? Oh, there's an extra square bracket over here. Gotcha. Gotcha. And I think the other place we did it was in buff to cursor pause. Yeah. So we can say let new visible line ranges equal to visible line ranges to visible line ranges. We've taken the line ranges and the height. And now we just search in the visible line ranges. Okay. And I think that that's fine. I think now this Y will get the index in the visible lines, and so that should work out. And then we can run it and see if it's still kind of fucked up. Now it crashes. Okay, so that's at 371. Length is 17, but the index is 17. That's not right. I guess we have this shit here where we're pushing if it doesn't fit. To make sure this is something about like we want to make sure that everywhere we're trying to write exists in the buffer already, so we pad the buffer with new lines if the index is too high. So we need to do that relative to visible lines now, I guess. But then you have like this like reference to the buffer that you oh, maybe that's fine. So let's think about this. Let me think. For line in line ranges.len, cursor pause y plus 1. So we could calculate the visible line ranges here. And then say num visible lines is equal to this. And visible line ranges len. We drop the reference so that we can edit the buffer again. And then we say for thing in num visible lines to cursor pause y. Push new lines. Maybe. Correct test. He doesn't like that at all. Doesn't like that at all. At mod 350. Here. Ah. I see. So if the length of this guy is 0, we can't subtract 1. So if line ranges.len equals 0, return line ranges. Just to prevent that crash. Okay, and now the only thing that's broken is canvas scrolling. Which means that we're kind of on the right track. We didn't break anything else that's important. And let's go back to our initial test. Can we just disable this one for a second? And go back to our initial scrolling test. So he is saying that he doesn't like the new cursor position here, probably 929. Oh no, he's saying so where I started from in this guy is no longer what I expected. So I'm looking at line 10 now. Oh, because there's less data? No. So he's expecting, left has this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chunk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's expecting this now? Hold on. Oh, the left has too much. So the thing I got has ZXYW \n, then the other thing. So my 3 is turned into a 4? Something here's fucked up. Something here is fucked up. Let me look. Okay, so this is the case where it passes. So what happened here? We think that our height should be 3, yet we have 4 lines here. Obvious bug. Obvious bug. And then our cursor position, he thinks he's at Y3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's consistent with this buffer, but this buffer feels wrong. So it's almost like all of that shit that we just did was incorrect. Right? This taking out this -1 seems a lot more reasonable. I guess we probably still need this guard. But now in terms of that test, it behaves a lot more reasonable if we don't -1. Like, this is what we expect. We expect there are 3 lines, so we get 3 lines. I see no problem with that. So maybe our diagnosis of the next test was wrong. We'll run him again. We'll give him some time. We'll think about it. So he is not liking 378. He's back at not liking that this does not exist. So am I high? So here I say, hey, here are how many visible lines you have. And here I say, okay, now we need to make sure that there's like a place to write into the buffer for that. And then he's saying, no, that doesn't exist. How the fuck is that possible? How is that possible? Line ranges to visible line ranges. This is the number of visible lines. That makes sense. And we want to be able to write into that. So we push new lines, and then he's still not happy. Index out of bounds. The length is 16, but the index is 16. And that's happening on this last right, the first line that we expect to wrap. Is that correct? If I just don't do this, then that crash doesn't happen? Yeah. Okay, so the first line that we're expecting wrapping, he's going, nuh-uh-uh-uh, I can't write there. Which does not make sense to me. Let's just, on a whim, add a +2 here, just to see. Which fucks up everything, which is reasonable and expected. Line ranges to visible line ranges. Okay, we so go from the first visible line onwards. The first visible line. So if my height, say I'm trying to insert at y equals 0, the first line, then I should look at the first line. So if I'm subtracting the height of the terminal, what the fuck am I missing? Why is this different than the other case? Right? Why is this test failing? And this test is passing. This test seems like totally reasonable. We have some content. We insert it. We're chilling. Can we like short circuit this test into like a shorter version of it? Like say I do this. Test canvas scrolling 3. And let's just like do the same shit. We create a canvas and a cursor, but this time we make him 50 by 16 so that he matches the previous case. And we just insert this fucking thing at that position. So at the cursor, pause, insert this shit. Okay. And then if I just do the same thing where I try to insert at the cursor, the response, new cursor pause. I try to insert just a simple, this guy, does he crash? No. How is this any different than this case here? Oh, I guess our new cursor position might not match up anymore with what they said it should be. Let's print that out. Response. New position is going to be response, new cursor, pause. So where does it think that we're supposed to be rendering to now? And then I guess we assert false here to make sure that it crashes. And then we see the logs. New cursor pause cannot be formatted with debug. So we just add it. Fine. Okay. New cursor pause 0:15. Ah! Right, because I can't write to position 16 in that case. Okay. And so then what do I expect to happen here? I expect now that the canvas data is equal to this shit we inserted, but with one line removed, and one more of these prompt lines added. Aha, now he's failing. Why? Why? Because on the right, I expect to see the words test here, and on the left, there's no tests in sight. So we're back at the same problem where we have this like double new line at the end. And he seems to have like removed more than I expected. Even after the first insertion, what does he? Let's just double check here. This is, how many new lines do you see in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this should all fit, I think, because this was like the last new line at the end. So this should all fit on this in the canvas. So here I should be able to say assert equal that the buffer inside the canvas holds this string after we do our first insertion. Right? It should just match exactly what we punched in. Oh, he has a double new line, so maybe I don't... If I don't insert that new line at the end. Now we're chilling. Okay. So this guy comes into this. That makes sense so far. Then, if I look at the data, right, there should have been no wrapping, so we should see the exact same thing. Great. But if I insert a new line at the end of this, which I shouldn't, I don't think Bash will do that. Now probably things change. Yeah, okay. Because now there's a double new line, which means this guy should be like this. Maybe. But maybe not. Ah, yes. Yeah, so because of the double new line at the end, this guy thinks he's wrapped. So we have to remove a line when we extract the actual data back. Or extract the current view. Yes, okay. That's making sense so far. So the double new line at the end is causing problems if I inject a new line. Okay. Great. That's a clue. A definite clue. So we can go back to kind of this version of it. Okay. And I believe in this state he was passing. Great. And then we just want to insert some data at the new position. We won't inject a \n at the end. Okay. And now we just expect the rollover to happen. So this should be exactly the same as this. Okay. And that doesn't work. On the right side, we have test. On the left side, we don't have the double new line anymore. So this is left says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was no wrapping on the left side. Why not? This is at line 945. That's here. Oh, because I do want to insert a new line here. Because I want to say jump to the next line. Because if I don't insert this new line... Hold on. I think I want to insert a new line, then the $sign. Because here I'm like I'm after the prompt line, I'm like inserting like here is where the cursor should be, I bet. If we print the cursor, it'll probably be at position 2 on the, like in X, which means that he'll be like entering data here. So let's just print that and see. He's passing now because I changed this around, so. Let's just double check. Yeah, X position 2. I see. So we insert the new line, then the new prompt, and then we see this. And everybody's happy. So it really seems like that's working as intended, as far as I understand it. But when we get into the terminal, he's very clearly not working as intended. I think. Let's just... Yeah, he's like crashing. Why? Why? I guess we do this bullshit again. Where... What do we want to know? I guess we just want to know why he's fucking crashing. So it does seem like maybe just running this in GDB does seem like a good idea. We need GDB installed, I guess. Okay, we run. ls enter, and I don't get a fucking... Oh, do I need to break on panic or something? Dude, does it really not automatically break on wrap? Am I high? I thought it did that. Rust, GDB, break on panic. On rust panic. B rust panic. Okay, there we go. Run it again. Okay, there we go. What the fuck? Alright, that's a backtrace. So here we're at probably like here is where we're looking at frame 7. So we can look at info args. We have width, height, cursor pause, right lang. Okay. Print cursor pause y. 16. Print line ranges. 17. Print visible line ranges. Okay. So here they're saying that we have an empty line at the very end here, and we're trying to insert into cursor pause y, cursor pause 16, y. Can we look at the data? So I want to look at, can I print the buff as a string? Like, can I say like as const i8 or something? Nope. P self.buff. Can I do like this? Can I do like self buff? Yeah. How do I like just get like the data pointer? Okay. As const i8, can I like then print like 10 characters of this and dereference maybe? As const car, like I just want to see it as text, man. Pointer, like if I say dereference this guy, do I get the first thing? No, that's a non-pointer value. Do I have to type pointer again? And then pointer again? all right. Self.buff.buff.pointer dot putter dot pointer dot pointer. Perfect. Then if I dereference this, do I get like a character as const car? Can I like dereference this? No, as const i8. I just want to print the fucking thing as a string, man. Rust GDB print u8 as string. Oh, I want it in GDB. GDB cast raw pointer to add stir. Yeah, here we go. I fixed this in GDB. So he's just saying that I should be able to say as... Oh, I can take the slice and cast it to a string. Okay. So can I say like self buff as... What if I do like print and self buff as u8? Invalid cast. Oi, 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 oi. So what am I supposed to do here? Can I do like self buff as... This is turning out to be not very fun. Rust GDB vec to slice. Rust GDB cast to slice. P self buff dot buff dot pointer dot pointer dot pointer as u8. Ooh, there we go. Then can I say as stir? No, stir in current context. Ah! I can lose my mind. Okay, so you just can't see it as text. Okay. I'm gonna lose it. What if I think there's like a GDB hex dump. Like, memory, maybe? This is not worth it. This is a waste of my time. But it would be nice to be able to do this, right? It would be able to be fucking nice to get in the debugger and see a string of some data at a pointer. In C, it's so easy. In C, it's so easy. Oh, god damn it. God fucking damn it. Okay, but this is the buffer. Maybe we can extract some meaningful info. Maybe. With what we have. I've already forgotten anything. So frame 7, we're trying to write to... We're trying to write to line 16, visible. We think that the line range's length is 17. We think there's going to be 17 lines in our buffer. Great. And then we think that the visible line ranges, we think that there should be 16 visible lines. Lines up because the height of our terminal is 16, right? Simple. Now, we need to pad the fucking buffer so that we can write what we want to write. Okay. I guess maybe the problem is that we're trying to write to line 16, which shouldn't exist. Line index 15 should exist. Line index 16 should never exist. But I guess we need some way to flag that we're trying to write past the end of the buffer to initiate a scrollback. Okay. Yep, that makes sense so far. Which means... wait. I think I get it. So this pad buffer for write function, he's like, hey, let's push an extra new line here so that there's room for you to write. You want to write to 16? Fucking go for it. We'll make it an extra line here. But then we say, hey, let's calculate the visible line ranges again. And we can't do that because it will now not realize that there's like an extra line there. So maybe what we have to do is we pretend temporarily that there's an extra visible line. Yeah. Okay. This is some bullshit, but I think that this will solve my problem. So we say, for this invisible line ranges len, we push the thing to the buffer, and we extend the visible line ranges as well. So we say now the visible line ranges have been extended. They should be length 17. Now we can write to that location, and I think that this line ranges should never be used anymore. So we should maybe drop line ranges here because I know that it's invalid, just to make sure. And maybe that'll fix it? Was this crashing in a test, or was it crashing... Was it crashing when we tried manually? I think it was crashing when we tried manually. Let's go! Hell yeah, baby! Woo! That's sick. God damn it. Okay, so we were so close. We were so fucking close. But it was just we weren't handling writing past the edge correctly. Look at that. That's kind of nice. I wonder now. Wait, is less working? Down, 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 up, 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 up. Hell yeah, baby. Look at that. Look at that. We did it. We got there. Fuck. Yes. Down, 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 down. Up, 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 up. I've never been so happy for something so simple in my entire fucking life. God damn it. What a pain in my ass. But that's pretty sick. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Okay. And actually, like, the cursor is kind of showing up in the right spot in all of these things. Hell yeah. Okay, so there's a problem with, like, buffer overwriting here. But overall, that's pretty nice. Okay. So what? We're like an hour and a half in, and we did the first thing on the on the to-do list. But hopefully the rest should be pretty straightforward now, right? Because now adding like a scrollable area with display history, like I think that like all of the data work is already done there, right? Like I guess also we probably need to add a test. Add test that what is it even supposed to be doing? Like what did we even just fix? We fixed pad buffer for right. So we need to like fix me add test to make sure we don't regress here. And like, what was the bug? Bug was that without this visible line range adjustment, we were writing past the end of the buffer or something. Like, this just seems like the type of thing that's like almost guaranteed to like regress, and I don't even understand what the problem that we solved was. So like having a test that it will correctly check that is like seems like it's something that could be very important. But probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to read this fix me later when I'm cleaning this up and be like, I don't want to, and I'll just delete the fix me. That's probably what's going to happen. But I can pretend that I have the right intentions right now. Okay. Let's add a scrollable area. Because I want some damn scroll back, baby. Okay, so where we get the data. Now, instead of returning this and a U size, maybe it makes sense to just return like the scroll back area, the scroll back, and on screen. And now we don't need to return like the size because we can kind of like implicitly figure out the size based off of the length of the scroll back. So we can say here, if the buff is empty, we just return, I don't know, like no scroll back, right? But an empty buffer. That's great. Otherwise, we find the start of the visible area, and we say, okay, the scroll back is going to be something like self buff from 0 to start, and then the visible area is going to be start onwards. Okay. Now we have to look at the people who use this guy and be like, why the fuck are you broken? So we can look at 619. And here we just say, instead of the offset being like a U size that we got back, it's going to be the length of the first half of the scroll back. In reality, I guess we need to return 2 vectors of format tags, right? We need the ones associated with the scroll back and the ones that are not. But for now, maybe we just ignore. We can put like a fix me and be like scroll back should have color. And I think otherwise this will just continue to work with the only on-screen stuff. This guy's going to return both now, and so we just go like this. And we're probably chilling, except in the GUI now. When we call terminal emulator data. Okay. We have all sorts of things to think about now. So render terminal output. Reasonable name. Reasonable name. For now, we'll say let the scroll back data and the like canvas data, I guess, is equal to terminal emulator data. Okay. And so here we're just gonna replace everybody who uses this guy with the canvas data for now, temporarily, so we can get a feel for like what this is going to look like. Cargo run. Chillin'. ls, bum, 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 scrolls back. Great. Okay. So I guess probably what we're going to do is we're going to make a scroll area for the whole thing, render the scroll back, then render on-screen stuff. Reasonable. So we can say, how do you scroll areas in eGUI again? It's like eGUI scroll area new, and create a scroll area where we decide which each axis has scrolling enabled. So we just say, I guess we have no scrolling on X, but we do have scrolling on Y. And then we say, please put some shit in this scroll area. And so for now, that's just exactly what we were doing before. But technically he's scrollable now. He doesn't like something. I'm missing an argument. Show. He takes 2 arguments, I guess. UI. Right. I need to show him in a UI. And I need to get the response out of this guy for something. But response inner response or so response inner. Then this guy will continue on here or something. I'm not really sure if that's gonna work out, but we'll see. Okay, so now I start spamming. I show my debug render. I hit enter a bunch of times. And this guy has a scroll bar, but he's kind of useless. When I scroll, the cursor is moving with him, which is good. If I reduce the size here, he doesn't care because this frame is like fixed at that size. So there's some problems here with like margins around the scroll area. It feels like the scroll area when we have a frame that is this size. Oh, it's because this extra new line at the end, maybe? This extra new line at the end is like pushing stuff off the top. That's probably it. So it's almost like we want that extra new line at the end to just to go away. That's fucking annoying. Okay. Fix me. Remove extra new line in terminal emulator. Data model. Whatever. But for now, we'll just say if canvas data dot ends with new line we will say canvas data is equal to canvas data from 0 len -1. Just, you know, as a hack. Hack. Because I don't want to forget. Okay, and then I have to put an ampersand here. And he doesn't like this. And it's supposed to be a byte. Arguments are incorrect. Ends with. I see. This needs to be a byte string. Okay. Card can run. Okay, now we show the debug render. Everything's chilling, no scroll back. Perfect. No scroll bar showing up because he fits in the area. Wonderful. Now, all we really have to do is the same. We also just want to draw out the scroll back. And so we can just say, what? Like, just render it as a string? Like, fuck it. UI label, like, scroll back data. I mean, eventually we'll need to make sure that it's like consistent and stuff, but if we were to just do this right now the dumb way, we would just say scroll back data and parse it to a string. And does that just fucking work? No? What the fuck did I do? Because I didn't put it in the scroll area. Oops. Whoopsies, whoopsies, whoopsies. He needs to go in the scroll area for sure, obviously. Okay, so there's clearly something wrong here going on here. So we just showed a bunch of new lines. So there is an extra new line being injected between these, which is a little annoying, I think. He's not sticking. So let's push the, yeah, there's an extra space being injected here. We're not sticking to the bottom. And obviously, like, just printing this guy without, like, all of his formatting and stuff is going to be a problem, right? If we type, like, git log, and I press, like, down here. Down, 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 down. All of this stuff was, like, losing its color in the back, but that's fine again. I guess we should have done pager equals cat git log or something. Maybe pager equals cat get lol for shorter content. Yeah, so we lose all this formatting stuff, but we're getting close. That's pretty close. Pretty close. Okay. Okay. So why is there like a space between them? Can I like okay, let's just not render jack shit. We'll just kind of like return here. I just want to see if I like do this, what happens? You know, I want to see if there's like a gap that there shouldn't be. No, these guys are pretty lined up, I think. So then, like, where the hell is the problem coming from? Why? Like, we were seeing a gap that we were not expecting. Oh, we probably have to do the same hack for the scrollback data. I bet. I bet it's the same shit where it's injecting an extra new line at the end, and the eGUI doesn't like that. Okay, so we scroll to the bottom. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, so the next thing to fix here is we want it to be sticky. So I think we just say stick to bottom, true. Look at that. Look at that nice little helpful function that guy wrote for me. Thanks, eGUI maintainer. Okay. Yeah, that's working pretty good. And then I scroll up, and we have, like, a history. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay. And so now we just want to make sure that we have, like, the formatting and stuff preserved for the old shit. Cargo format, because this is looking fucked up as shit as all hell. And it's just, like, all of this stuff just needs to be applied twice. So here, first we need to make sure we get the format data. That it is split for scrollback and non-scrollback. So, which means that this guy is also going to be duplicated, right? He's going, this like offset handling is going to be like a function that we need to split out. And so we could say, or no, we don't need to do any offset bullshit for the first half. For anything in scrollback, it doesn't fucking matter. Nice. Nice. So we can do this. Okay, so instead of filter here, I'm going to partition it. I'm going to split it into two vectors. One that has like the first section and the second that has the second section. And I guess we'll have to handle how do I say this? Okay, so I have like scrollback, bump, and then here it says like red start, right? Then we have like and then we have like canvas and like first character, right? Then red end. We have to like duplicate this guy, this like red start to red end section, so that he is both in the scrollback section and the non-scrollback section. So we need to do something like, we like get the tags from the format tracker, great. And maybe the simplest thing to do for now, fix me, this is DOM, should not retrieve twice. But instead, for now, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to take the tags once. And I'm going to say, I'm just going to apply this filter. But in the opposite direction. So if the tag end is less than the offset, which is where the scrollback ends, if it's less than that, then we use it. And then we do it again to get the second half. Let canvas tags equal this. Okay. And then we just return scrollback tags, canvas tags. And we probably have to adjust this guy to make sure he doesn't go past the end. So we have to say, if we get the tag, and the tag end is greater than offset, tag end is equal to tag end max min offset. So the smaller of the end of the scrollback and the tag end, we use that. There we go. Easy. All right. I think that's probably it. And then we just do this stuff twice. So we say, let scrollback tag format data canvas format data is equal to the terminal emulator. Get format data. Great. Okay. And then here we probably split this into a function of some form, right? We say like function construct add terminal data to UI, and he takes in like the UI that we're writing to, as well as the data and the format data, right? That seems reasonable. And then just everything that we do here, womp womp, we just do it twice. Okay. And if everything that says canvas data is now just data, format data here turns into format data, datalen, and we need to return the response. Because somebody's going to try to use that. He doesn't like that we don't have a format tag imported. But otherwise, that's easy. Easy peasy. So now we just say, add terminal data to UI. And it's the scrollback data and the scrollback format data paired with the UI. They want an ampersand here. And we just do it twice. Once for the scrollback, once for the canvas. And I think maybe that just works. And then we want to return the rectangle of the canvas area for rendering the cursor. Maybe. Pager equals cat get lol. You know, that looks pretty good. Colors are tracked as expected. The cursor is getting rendered off screen, which is kind of funny. But that's fine. Like, nothing about this feels like crazy wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It's feeling pretty good. Like, that's... It would make... I guess when I type, it should jump to the bottom, but that's easy. Yeah, that feels good. It feels good. Color is preserved. branches preserved, get status, like, that's like almost like a real terminal emulator. That's feeling pretty decent. Feeling pretty decent for sure. Okay. I'm a little short on time today. So we're at 1:45. And I think we can call it there. We made some really good progress today. So what do we do? We basically all we did was add a scrollback. But by doing that, we also fixed less. So we can say less source terminal emulator mod rs, and now like that works wonderfully. And I think we fixed some like cursor bugs along the way as a mistake. But yeah, pretty much the big thing is that we have scrollback now. That's pretty sick. Pretty sick. Let's run it again. Pager equals cat get lol, just because it feels good. So yeah, pretty good progress. Happy with that. If you like what you saw, I stream most days at around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific time for around 1 or 2 hours. We're doing like a variety of things. So, you know, this like little brick maze on the right is something we developed on stream. This terminal emulator, we've done some like operating system stuff, AI stuff, web dev stuff, right? We're trying to hit basically whatever I find interesting that day is what gets shown on stream. I suspect that I'm going to keep working on this terminal emulator for a bit because I have like some other things I want to accomplish with it. And it feels like maybe we can get to somewhere where it's like actually usable. Like this doesn't feel that shit anymore. But we'll see. I'm sure there's like a million edge cases, which is kind of part of the fun of this. But we'll be working on this for a bit. If you miss a stream and you want to catch up on YouTube, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description where all VODs will go up. There's a GitHub link there where code gets a little prettied up and then pushed. So like, I don't know if anyone was watching yesterday, like we kind of got like these like 11 commits out of the like super fucking disaster commit that was what we had at the end of the stream. There's a Discord link in the Twitch description as well if you want to like get updates about like when I'm going to go streaming like a little bit ahead of time. I like try to post the day of, about an hour before, when I'm planning on going live, what the topic is. And if you want to like chat about stuff offline, there's a general chat in there that you could shoot the shit in. If you're watching YouTube, there's a Twitch link in the YouTube description. You should swing by, say hi. Other than that, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye!